Hello and welcome to Darius Comic School, and today we will talk about The Walking Dead, Volume 19, March to War. And I have to say, I enjoyed reading The Walking Dead. I started maybe 10 years ago, and now I have the time and the money, and I'm reading up on The Walking Dead. And while I was reading, I was kind of noticing that The Walking Dead is kind of woke. So you might say, no, The Walking Dead is not woke, but this episode I think will kind of prove it. And here on the cover, you already got your diversity higher. I mean, I love King Ezekiel. I love also the Jesus part. But every white straight male that is not Rick or Abraham is pretty much a wimp or a creep, and we will see. So stay. I will say what's good, what's not good. The cover is definitely good. March to War, I did enjoy it. But whatever you hear, The Walking Dead, diversity cast. Yeah, that's what we're gonna talk in this comic. So the beginning, not great, not stellar. Art-wise and also story and writing-wise, I think Charlie Adlard was looking at Mike Mignola. That's a good thing. And I think he was also looking at BPRD, and that's also a good thing. But it starts with Maggie at the hilltop. I think she's on Glenn's grave. And then a woman joins her, this girl. And what do I have here? Boring shit. What's the point? Black woman, strong. Yeah, we'll get into this. So this girl with a huge forehead, and yeah, she's a black woman, and she says like she lost her boyfriend, her daughter, a lot of people. But here she's standing strong, not in shock, not broken, and so they bond, which is pretty okay. So it's not bad, but something was off here. This is when I started. I don't know if The Walking Dead was always woke, but it's right around here where I started noticing that I kind of got bored and I didn't want to read on. And I couldn't point out. I thought maybe because this is so dialogue heavy, and that's also not a great start. I mean, sometimes yes, you have to talk. But Kirkman just dumps on us tons and tons of text with ugly ass art of this chick, and it's just hard to look at. I mean, it's okay that there are different people. I appreciate that. I love it really much. I don't like it when every character looks the same. This is a plus here. But she just, I don't know what she's talking. She's like saying like doesn't get easier when people die, but you kind of get used to it and you have to move on. And she gives a good speech, but I don't know, it's just not great. And then what do I have here? Wise old magical black woman trope. Yeah, I'm saying these are tropes because it's one thing if somehow real people find into your comic, and everybody will say, yeah, but it's fiction. Yeah, but fiction needs to be also feel like it's real. I'm sure you like maybe the Lord of the Rings, and that's fiction, but it feels kind of real. It feels gritty, and that's because like I don't know, the people feel real, and here the people feel kind of like, I don't know, invented, I want to say. And so, but it's cool, like Maggie is new to the hilltop, so they are bonding, and as you can see, again, walls of text at the beginning of the comic. This is an action survival comic, and we're just bombarded with two women talking, which is okay, but kind of boring. And also the trope are never this good, because like real people, real emotion will go from the page to you, the reader. And whenever you just put in tropes, oh, this woman says this and she's strong and all of that, that cheapens it. You can't really feel it. Yeah, she says somewhere that Gregory's a creep. And yeah, all the white males, yeah, Gregory's a creep. The young guy Spencer from Alexandria is a creep and is also weak, but not these women. These women are strong, which is okay. I let it slip and pass. So a pretty strange start, but it's good that we're at the hilltop. Maggie is kind of our window into the hilltop. That's a good thing, I guess, because we know the character Maggie, so we can relate to that, and so we're kind of through her lens meeting all the people in the hilltop. So Gregory pops in while she gets her pregnancy examination, which is pretty creepy and all of that. I don't know, I kind of found it a bit strange all that happens, but okay. I'm just a visitor in this comic. And then again, some Mike Mignola style panels, really good. Copy, steal like an artist, and then Sophia doesn't want to stay there. Pretty understandable. Maybe she wants to stay with Carl and all of that. And then Jesus shows up, and Jesus has a message for Maggie, and I don't know. I think he's preparing her that they are going to war against Negan. I think it's called March to War. So I wrote down here diversity hires, Maggie Samari Sue. Then, she got also the short hair. Did you notice? Like, this is what I was noting. It's not like you cannot have short hair, but Maggie got the short hair. And then Jesus is gay. But, well, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Then we got here our Asian guy. Again, can happen, or maybe he's Mexican, who don't know, and all the boomers are creeps. Well, maybe this is very accurate, or maybe not, but it's pretty boring at the beginning. They are talking, Jesus is filling in Gregory that they're moving against Negan, and then of course we get Andrea. They talk, and Michonne has definitely her word with Rick. Like, Rick was kind of keeping it hidden that he wants to move against Negan. And now he fills in Michonne, and Michonne says, I kind of liked not to fight, but if I have to, I will, and all of that stuff. And then here we got more diversity hires. I know it's not a movie, but here we got our fat chick, and here we got Spencer, a straight white male, maybe being a bit evil. I don't know. And it's pretty boring so far. Okay, they are moving to war, but just it's not interesting. It's not very well made. Then we got here this guy who makes the iron, and Jesus just shows them the hilltop. Kind of interesting. It's cool to get around. Again, that's a good thing that you introduce a new location through a character you maybe already need or know. And then we kind of are. The plot was a bit confusing on this part, because there's Carl, and I don't know who Carl is. I saw him just once or maybe twice, or I don't know. It's this dude here. We met him once, and then we met him a second time, and then we're supposed to know who he is. And he was also filled in on the plan, but now he maybe wants to kind of tell Negan that they are moving against them, and Jesus goes after him, which is a cool point, but it's just a bit rushed. Then Eugene talks about making bullets, and it's all pretty wordy. Not that words are bad, but nothing happens. Pretty boring. I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's just not interesting. And then here our diversity cast. We got Michonne. We got Heath, we got the gay guy, we got the kid that is pretty much bulletproof and a robot. We got two boss girls. We got the black guy, we got the gay guy, we got the kid who is stronger than everybody else, and then we got Rick and we got Eugene, and that's it. So I don't know, not much happens. Jesus running towards the street where Cal will rat him out, and then Cal says, "Oh, don't come close," and then he throws a spear. Is Cal going to kill Jesus? Jesus catches it. Cool art. Then Cal comes out. I wasn't even aware who he is, but yeah, I don't know. Like, it's pretty strange. They talk, and then the saviors show up. Of course, the saviors are a bunch of random losties. It's not that, yeah, it's just a blob of bad guys. And I don't know, maybe that weakens also. Of course, we have Negan, then we have his right hand man, but then we got just a bunch of random bad guys, and it's not super threatening. I don't know. It's just like the bad guys are not super fleshed out, and so Jesus can hide from them what he wanted. I think the art is kind of good on these pages. Charlie Adlert really doing good stuff, and pretty freaking boring volume. And then they drive to the kingdom to meet King Ezekiel, and yeah, here Michonne will be the biggest boss bitch again. I will show you in a second. So this is kind of cool. We get an introduction. I guess we were already introduced to, or is this the first time we see him? We'll see. So and then she says, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." Okay, that's okay. Why not? So Michonne is skeptical, and then he grabs her hand, and she says, "Don't touch me," which, okay, is also okay. And then like King Ezekiel is a bit also like, I don't know, you go there, can you not fill them in? And then like, look at this is drama for drama's sake. Then she gets out a ninja sword, then Shiva roars, and then this guy says, "Shiva, no." Yeah. And she says, "Put away your weapon." And then, "You mean Shiva, my tiger? She's my pet. This is my weapon." Very cool drawing. And he shows then his weapon of choice. And as you can see, maybe a moment of tension. And then I simply wanted to see if mine was bigger. And then Michonne puts away hers, and he says, "It was not." Oh, ho, 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 ho. So, men not as strong as women. Michonne has the biggest cock in the whole Walking Dead for no reason, because she's just a Mary Sue. Like, I don't know, like Andrea Mary Sue, she's a Mary Sue. These are diversity hires. Nobody's a real person, and that's the problem with woke comics, is that there are no real people. They act like real people, but they are no real people. There we will have another issue where somebody dies, or every time somebody dies, these people are never in shock. Like, they just shrug it off. I would love to see, like, when people lose somebody, they are mostly in shock, they are in grief, they cannot act and react, but in this comic they're all fine. And I know it's a comic. I wanted to say it's a survival action comic, but no, it's a wordy comic where you got a lot of speech balloons and fancy words and a couple of cool pictures. I mean, I kind of enjoyed it that they went to the kingdom and then they dine together because they are marching to war. In the TV show, I have to say, not that it was great, but it took a bit more time before the kingdom and all of the places moved against Negan, and it felt a bit more organic. Here it feels like very rushed. It is super fast. And that's kind of, I don't know, it takes a bit away. Then we got this scene where Michonne and Ezekiel bond a bit. I think the art on this one is really great, and she's pissed because he's acting, and then he lets down his guard and he says, "Yeah, okay, I played Shakespeare in theater, I think," and yeah, he then drops the whole backstory, all the exposition, and that's what it is. Like, this is what I pulled, all this exposition dump. Show, don't tell, would have been better. But again, we get an exposition dump of who he has been, and he was a zookeeper, and then he found Shiva, and then he tamed her, and all of that stuff. And then when he came back, he saw that people needed a leader. That's what this comic is about. It's about being a leader. As if you have 5 people, like my 5 fingers, as if they don't organize. And sure, maybe one's the boss, but things are not always as smooth as that. Like, there's always friction, and there's always like everybody wants to have a say in something. And yeah, but here in this story, there are only leaders, only kings, and only Negan and I don't know. And then they still bond a bit. I like that it takes a bit of time, and it's a cool characterization. I mean, the style of King Ezekiel is pretty cool. I like his outfit and all of that stuff. Like, really cool. I like it. And then of course I like it too that they bond. And then he calls her cute, and she kind of likes it. And this is a cool panel. So kind of cool. Although, yeah, I don't know. We'll see later. Because this comic will have some flaws at the end of the comic. Pretty glaring flaws. So they have a do-over. He says, I'm Ezekiel. She says, I'm Michonne. And then, I don't know, they kind of have a thing. They sleep in the kingdom, which is kind of cool. Michonne also gets to bed. As you can see, she wants to put aside her ninja sword, but she doesn't trust anybody. And then she sleeps with her sword, because why not? She's a strong woman, Mary Sue. And yeah, that's just her character. She's a strong woman. She doesn't sleep without a sword, which is okay. I mean, maybe I wouldn't sleep also without a sword if I'm somewhere else. That is not my home. And then Carl shows up, and I don't know what he wants. He wants to see the tiger. And then it's the next day, and I think they get the people to go to war. And Gregory says, don't pull too many people from our community. And Jesus says, but we need them. All of this stuff. And then here again, boomers bad, diversity good, CIA psyop. Yeah, that's what I noted. Because like Gregory is always like, I don't know, like, okay, this is Gregory. But again, Jesus, very virtuous and very Mary Sue-like. This is a great drawing. And then we got here Cal, which is maybe Mexican or Asian. I don't know what Cal is. And then we got like a black girl and a white girl. And Gregory, of course, is a creep. And I think they call Gregory a self-important jerk. But these women, of course, are strong and all. And yeah, I don't know. Pretty boring, boring garbage comic up until here. Only talk, no show. Kind of weak, but now the action starts a bit, and yeah, they are training some of the people, and they are good people. I like it so far. For the first time when I was reading it, I was just enjoying it. I wasn't looking at it through the woke lens, which is definitely okay. And then here comes a beautiful scene with a bus, and are these Jesus guy people? And here, what do we get here? Michonne is tough, but falls in love fast. Why not? And she falls in love always with the black guys. I think that's a critique point. I don't know why she couldn't fall with a normal guy. Well, maybe she just likes black guys. Why not? But I was questioning, like, why would you do that? Because it is not like white people like only white people, and black people like only black people, and Asian people like only Asian people. It's usually healthy people, strong people, attractive people like each other, and it really doesn't matter where you're from. But okay, still beautiful drawings. And again, if you're disagreeing with something I'm saying, I'm definitely open to discussion. And then here in the theater, King Ezekiel comes in, and they are discussing what they're gonna do and how they're gonna doing. Not too bad. Negan shows up at the gates of Alexandria and wants his stuff, and the fat chick opens up, and Negan is kind of into her, and he gets slapped in the face for that because he calls her a fat chick. And this is kind of cool. This is where Spencer wants to make a move against Rick, and he goes to Negan and he pretty much talks to Negan or with Negan, and as you can see, a wimpy guy, no backbone at all, and he says, my father ruled here before Rick came along, and I wanted to ask you, maybe you can kill Rick and put me in his place. And Negan says, do you have a pool table? And then they walk. But Negan, of course, gets pissed because Negan doesn't like when people have no backbone. So he tells him, you got no guts. And here, he pretty much finds Spencer's guts. And Negan is kind of, I don't like cowards. I don't like them. And then the doctor chick finds Spencer. She can't do nothing for him. And right at that point, Rick shows up again. I think this is a great page, great art. Michonne looks amazing on this page, but also everything else does. And what else? So pretty cool pages. I was kind of enjoying this. Was kind of fun while you read it. While you're reading it, you shouldn't think too much, and I think this is great. Like Negan sitting down, drinking a lemonade. And then what I don't understand is that Rick always loses his temper. I mean, Negan is introduced to be the big bad. He bashed in Glenn's skull. And of course, Rick is very rebellious, and I can relate to that trait. But then again, Rick is always a prick. He's always causing problems, and I'm just thinking to myself while I'm reading this, man, how can he put up with this guy and just kill Rick the prick? I think unrealistic. I don't know. You tell me if you know some Russian gangsters or some Italian gangsters or some evil people or some criminals or some deranged people or whatever, and if you can talk with them or to them the way Rick does. Have you never seen GTA 5 or the good old movies from the 90s? Or you know what I mean? I mean, these people, they will put you into the place in your place pretty fast. Of course, Negan is resistant to that because he's a bit of insane, and maybe he wants Rick to be the leader because then he can control the group better. That's his thing. And he says, Lucille, give me the strength. And so he tells him, while you went away, I came here. I wanted to take the shit that I needed, and then I did you a favor. Because Rick is pissed that Spencer is gone, that Negan killed him. And he explains to Rick that Spencer came to him and wanted him killed. So did him a favor. And and he also says, like, are you not happy that I returned your boy to you, that I let you live, that I do all the good stuff for you, and this is how you thank me. And so Rick kind of calms down. Negan is happy. They go home, and at this point, Rick is just, okay, we have to do something. We have to go after them. Maybe that this is the last chance we get to catch them off guard, which I pretty much liked. This was amazing. And also the drawings are amazing. And Andrea gets up to the bell tower, and they say, okay, close the gates and then open them up again. We're taking a shot. And Negan is like, okay, what the fuck are they doing? And then, pow! This is great action. This is also great writing, I guess, because I didn't see this coming. And then they tried to take out Negan and was like, okay, and then some random Negan guys get out, they die, and the Paw Patrol gets out to get Negan. And this is like great. Like Rick has him now at gunpoint, and then he shoots. I think this is really great. I was kind of like, okay, what happens now? This is truly cool. And then, of course, Rick loses his weapon, and all the others are too, because Negan had snipers planted. So before Negan goes in somewhere, he sends his troops, and look, Negan is about to get shot by Rick. Like, he crosses him again and again and again, and Negan just points his finger at him and just talks with him. As you can see, walls of text, and just says, "Oh, you do not threaten me," and all of that stuff. And then he says, "Line them up, somebody's gonna die." And I think Negan is just too soft, and Kirkman can't write. And they're always stretching it out. So Negan is not a real threat at this point. I don't know. It just feels like on repeat. Nothing happens, but still, I'm reading on. I'm enjoying myself. Not too bad. And then he says something that now something bad's gonna happen. And of course, nothing bad's gonna happen, because the comic, almost like the TV show, is just stretching it. Then we get Jesus and this guy, and I call him the why those two, gay man for the rescue. So again, great drawing. I like the dynamic in this one, also pretty cool, but it's just like, and nothing against gay people, not at all. I like it that they're running here, but why these two? Like, why couldn't you send somebody else? Or why is the comic structured this way? And then it's a show off. But the cool thing is like Jesus, and I don't remember this guy's name. That's always a bad sign when you can't remember a guy's name or a girl's name. And they're checking out the outposts, because like they want to attack, or maybe know how many people are in the outpost, so that they can know how many people there are, but there is nobody at the outpost. And so Rick is kind of in a bad position, and Andrea is like there, and now we get maybe a cool scene where somebody shows up at the sniper's place, and now Andrea is in harm's way. And I enjoyed this scene, definitely. Like, it was pretty cool, like, what's gonna happen, how is this gonna play out? Rick's just gonna take a punch at Negan, misses. Negan gives him a few, and then Lucille gets shot by Carl, and they shoot back, and now she has to defend herself against this guy. And so we got a mano-a-mano fist fight in the bell tower, which is pretty cool, pretty epic. She loses the sniper rifle. This guy means business, as you can see. He stands above her, punched her in her mouth. And it's a great scene, also great art. And this guy's, oh god, hold your fucking fire, and throw Carl over the wall. I want that guy. And then he's fighting Rick, and they are going at it, fisticuffs, fighting. And Negan's definitely losing it. Great art, great stuff. I'm enjoying it very, very much, because I don't know what's gonna happen. Great stuff, I think, is gonna happen. And then Negan thinks, because he's not just a stupid guy, and then he says, okay, good, I will kill one of these guys if you don't throw him out. And then Andrea is still fighting this guy, and it's kind of cool. Like, I was kind of hooked, and also the art is pretty good, and it's kind of gruesome. So stakes this time are high. Somebody could die. But I write here hours later. Yeah, I write hours later, not here. I write hours later here, because like Negan is always like, he got so much time, like, and so much patience. He gets kicked, he gets shot, does he enjoy the play with these guys? And then he's talking and they're watching, and then he's saying something smart, and it's like hours later. And I'm not sure, like it's always the same picture. It's like, I don't know. And then yeah, I don't know. It kind of broke me that nothing ever happens, and then they just talk, and they talk even more. Like, look at the text here. Like, what you're waiting for? This guy punched you a million times, disrespected you a million times, but no, of course Negan doesn't know that. And he doesn't need stuff like that. He just needs to talk. He just needs to waste our precious time talking and talking, and I don't even know what's here. And then he says, finally, line them up after hours of talking again. This fight is kind of cool, great stuff. Andrea getting choked, like this can be really, really bad. She gets the hold of a knife, slashes this guy, and then what's gonna happen? And yeah, pretty dire situation. Like this one is cool, and then something happens here, and he notices that somebody flies out of the window, maybe Andrea, and he's like, no. And that's a great scene because like he's now distracted, and Negan says, come on, you got your own situation here at concentrate. And as you can see, Rick is devastated, and this is a very dire situation. So how do they get out of this situation? Really cool, not all great, but kind of cool. I kind of enjoyed it. Also, the artwork is really great. And as you can see, she survived because why not? She's strong, she doesn't die. So why not? Rick, devastated, maybe would have been stronger if you had this first, and then he talks a bit, and then a page turn, and then you see that she survives. Maybe would have been a bit stronger. But again, Negan talks and talks, and I don't know, like look how much text is here. But again, then this guy, cowardly. I mean, we saw Spencer at the beginning of this pretty cowardly, pointing out that he wants to be in charge, and this guy has family, and he says, no, please, I have a kid and I have a wife, don't kill me. And then Negan says, what the fuck? Like, these guys also have kids and family, why should I spare you? And he says, I can take this, please let me go. And then Negan says, okay, this guy is gonna die first. And then he's lining him up, and then Heath says something, and they're going at it. And right at that moment, conveniently, as always, why not? Jesus shows up. Jesus is a Mary Sue, and he's gay. It's not that it's gay, but why can he fight like this? I mean, would have been cool if he at least gave us like he was a CIA agent or he was a stuntman. Maybe you don't need it. But again, right in time, Jesus shows up and he starts taking out Negan's man, and Negan says, what the fuck? Which is okay. I mean, why not? And as you can see, great art, some great punching. One-man army Jesus takes out a bunch of guys with machine guns, and I don't know, it lessens a bit the action. Like, why not take Jesus and just send him where you need him? And Negan takes a punch at him, but no chances again against Jesus. He just takes him out. He even gets him into a chokehold, and he says, nobody move. And so nobody moves. What do I have here? Negan feels stupid at this point. All talk, and then no consequences. Yeah, it's pretty much always talk, no consequences. You just need one Jesus to overwhelm 5 guys, get Negan, and then here they are. And you think, okay, how are they gonna get out of the situation? What's gonna happen? And what's gonna happen is this. Shiva shows up out of nowhere, which is okay. Ezekiel shows up with his guy. Out of nowhere, people show always up with their armies. And then they fight. Negan bails because, because there's a tiger there. And they kind of win the fight. And that's it, I guess. That's kind of it. So it wasn't bad. Rick is going to look for Andrea, finds this guy, and then he finds her here in the bell tower. I think great art. Okay storytelling. Definitely if you're following the story, it's kind of okay. And then what do I got here? Yeah. What a convenience again. Yeah, that they get just rescued in the last second or last minute. Why not? And then they all have coffee, chocolate, and tea. Only Michonne questions what Rick was pulling off there, and he says, well, I don't know. And of course, she got beat up heavily, but she's standing again, and she said, what if you just, yeah. So, wait a second, but yeah, they are. And then, like, a few seconds later, I don't know, like, they go to so much trouble, and he got slapped in the face or punched in the face by Negan, but no bruises, no nothing. So these guys take, these people do not take physical damage, they do not take psychological damage, they are just, I don't know, they're just good cartoon characters. And that is what I don't like in this stage. That at the beginning of the show, of the comic, I had the feeling that things had some stakes, yeah, and now, like, the only thing Carl can think of is make sure you kill him, and he says, I will. Like, I don't know. And then this happens where Jesus talks with Rick, and as you can see, walls of text, and he says, don't get yourself killed, because this little revolution can only live because people will rally against you, Rick Grimes, because you are the chosen one, and we love you, and without you we cannot go on, and you are a leader we can follow. Yes, it's kind of cool, it's kind of cringy, why not? But it's just, I don't know, sometimes a little bit too much cheese for me. And then we're at Negan's place. This is pretty cool. And of course, these guys are just random dummies. And then right here, he says, oh, we will show them that we are the biggest swinging dicks in the universe. And then people do not get it. And he says, yeah, we're going to war. And yeah, this is what I pointed out. Why are Negan's guys just incompetent throwaway characters? That I don't understand. So was I happy with March to War? I think it was a pretty decent comic, but I don't know. Boring in the first part, confusing then here in the middle, a bit boring, then strange in the middle part, and then a bit of action here that I enjoyed, and not bad. Like I kind of liked this part, and then at the end again nothing happens. I don't know. Tell me what you think. We see us.